I'm going to call to order the Town of Old Saybrook Zoning Commission meeting, second floor, 302 Main Street, Old Saybrook, Connecticut, for our Monday, June 22nd, 2026 special meeting. If we could stand, there's a flag. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, myself, Mark Caldarella, Chair, Derek Kennedy, Vice Chair, John Henry, Secretary, Laura Gray, and Robin Kelly, regular commission members. And we also have this evening with us, Mike Kelly, as an alternate member. Regular business minutes from our last meeting of Monday, June 1st, 2026. I'll make a motion to accept. There's seconded by Robin. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions necessary? I did not see any.
I found just a couple typos on
Okay.
how road was spelled. It was probably copied and pasted. But if you look at 7C, Post Road East with an E at the end of road.
Oh, yeah.
And then again, in the motion for.
Right below it.
Yeah, on the next page. That's the only thing I saw.
Was that cut?
Oh,
Yeah.
and here too. Motion to approve.
So three corrections, correct?
Yeah.
In the spelling of road. Are there any other? Not hearing any, move to a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstains, passes 5-0-0. Thank you, Julian. Correspondence, we only have what is in front of us this evening, correct? 5, continued public hearings. A, Carabetta petition to amend the Old Saybrook zoning regulations, IHZ, amend section 54.2.2 to allow the approval of landscaping and parking locations that do not meet the design standards, but meet the intent of the regulations, and section 54.9.1 to allow for 24% structure coverage and 3 stories for residentially zoned properties in the Gateway Conservation Zone. Petitioner is Gary Carabetta. The agent is attorney Ed Casella. Our action is continue or close no later than July 5th, 2026. Attorney Casella.
Yes, okay. I know we had a fairly substantive discussion at the last meeting. I think the most important thing to recall is the reg amendment has been reduced and tailored down. So the only 2 things that we're asking for are the amendment to allow for 3 stories, and then the amendment to allow for the coverage to increase in the gateway up to 24%. So I know we were waiting on the state. The whole landscaping and parking has been eliminated from consideration. That was part of the legal notice. I know we were waiting for the state, and
So we tried to advertise, we didn't have the 35 days for the mandatory referral with hopes that we would hear from the state. We now have the 35 days and we have not heard from the state. So we're all clear if you'd like to close the public hearing and act this evening.
Did you have anything else? Commissioners have any questions since our last meeting relative to?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Mine is the change, or I would say the reduction in the asks. Is that still, is the Gateway's letter and the Planning Commission's letter all still relevant then to the ask?
yes. But those were, they understood that had been eliminated when those letters came.
Any other questions? I have one for you, just clarification. You probably stated this the last time, but it's been a few weeks since our last meeting. But the need for 3 stories versus 2.5?
Oh, it's because the coverage is, in order to get decent size units, there's only so much coverage that can be, so going up an extra half a story provides square footages that are still smaller than most of the other townhouses, if not all the other townhouses, but become much more comparable. So adding the 3rd story, I have all these numbers somewhere, but as you said, it's been a few weeks, so I'm in the same predicament, but that's essentially what it is.
Do you have a rough idea of the additional square foot by going to 3 stories?
Yeah, it's 250 square feet. Units are like 550, so 2.5 would be 1,100, 1,350, and that includes a garage
Mhm.
on the lower level. So the extra half story is another 275. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you. Are we prepared to close public hearing this evening? I'll make a motion to close public hearing on Carabetta petition to amend the Old Saybrook zoning regulations, IHC, as previously read. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Laura Gray. Any discussion? Not hearing any, move to a vote. All those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, passes 5-0-0. Do we have all the necessary information this evening to deliberate, or would you wish a continuance? You're good? Good, okay. Is there a motion from the commissioners? I will make a motion to approve the Carabetta petition to amend the Old Saybrook zoning regulation I8Z, amend section 54.2.2 to allow the approval of landscaping and parking locations that do not meet the design standards but meet the intent of the regulations in section 54.9.1 to allow for 24% coverage and 3 stories for residentially zoned properties in the Gateway Conservation Zone. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Laura Gray. There, discussion I omitted before I closed public hearings, so I may have to go backwards to that,
We'll just,
if anybody wanted to speak on behalf or against. There's nobody in the audience. Is there anybody online?
No.
No? Okay, sorry. I guess we're okay with that. All right.
Either.
So,
Question about your motion.
sure.
The landscaping and parking conditions have been removed from the application.
Okay, you're correct.
So you read the,
I read as,
Yeah.
as,
do we need to modify that
yes.
proposal?
So,
It's just about the structure coverage of the 3 stories.
so we had this seconded, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You seconded, so we have to make a motion to withdraw and thing. So I'll make a motion to withdraw the previously stated motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by John Henry. Any discussion? All those in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Okay, passes 5-0-0. So the motion is to approve the Carabetta petition to amend the Old Saybrook zoning regulations, IHC. And which-
Section 54.7.2 to add 3 stories and 54.9.1 to increase the coverage to 24%.
24%.
Thank you. And that's outlined in the amended petition.
Also, second,
Seconded by John Henry. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, so we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, passes by 5-0-0. Thank you very much, Attorney Casella.
Effective date July 15th.
Yep.
Is that good for you, Attorney
Great.
Casella?
We'll do that.
We'll be here.
Continuing on, six public hearings, A, Public Works Garage application for special exception use to reconfigure existing garage and construct 5,788 square feet additions. Base and entryway, 499 Middlesex Turnpike, Assessors Map 57, Lot 31, Business B4 District, Aquifer Protection Zone. The applicant is the town of Old Saybrook. The agent is Michael Ott. Our action is to open public hearing, continue or close by July 20th, 2026. Mr. Ott, welcome.
Good evening. Just for the record, again, I'm Mike Ott, I'm a licensed professional engineer and land surveyor. So Madison. And what Davis is a fun date. You saw this, I think, at the last meetings, additions and alterations to the public works. To one of the buildings of the public works facility. We've been to the architectural review board, we've been to the planning commission, with this application for the planning commission. And we've gone through the process with the wetlands and water courses commission. So I think this guys are doing a lot of stuff. So I think I can hold this for you. Yeah. I think you're probably mostly interested in the building, but so Mark can explain the building too.
So to give you a little bit of context, this is the existing building.
Mark, can you hold it up or put it over? That's great.
This is the existing building. We are looking to retain this rugged area here, the CMU structure. Demo the side here that houses admin, currently built storage. And then looking to add an addition on building here and then closing that. So, get the plan for yeah, this here is the existing CMU building that they're looking to retain. This is one of the additions, and then we're closing this for it's keeping and structure for growth. Increase as well. But this is intended to increase the capacity of the storage for vehicles.
Just with regard to the site, I think it's pretty, it's probably not very straightforward, but we're adding an additional 6 parking spaces. Are bringing in a new fire protection water service from Middlesex Turnpike into the site. Utility services for these buildings will be those that are there today. We're not touching the septic system. There's no additional employees added. There's no programming or anything that would change water use. We did submit the application to the River Area Health District, and we signed off on it. We have that. And that's really the extent of the site improvements. We are adding there's a camera on the existing building now that looks at the building position for the panels. Then we're going to add a full mounted light at the fueling facility, which doesn't exist today, and put a new camera on that same light pole. And we are modifying the existing sidewalk that goes from the parking area to the front entry, essentially in the same place, which is the new sidewalk. And we'll also add a nice concrete pavement out front of the building. I think that's the extent of the site improvements. It sits where there is pavement already. So we remove the pavement and build the building where the pavement is.
And the height of the structure reflects the adjacent building.
That's really the flag forward. It is.
Was a note on the, I'm sorry, on the, I think on the ARB about maintaining as much tree coverage as you could. I didn't see any discussion about that. Is there a lot of tree removal or?
No, there's no, we told the Wetlands Commission this, we walked the site with the Wetlands Commission last Thursday before their regular meeting. There's no tree removal proposed. At the rear of the building, the existing building, we did notice that there's some branches from existing trees that are really pretty close to the back of the building. And realistically, this will have to be pruned when the guys are working, like a wall, they have to lift up equipment and put a certain height, those branches would be in the way. But other than that pruning, no tree removal.
Okay.
That was my question.
Second tonight.
I have a question. I'm having trouble understanding what's new, so if you could just trace with your finger what's existing. I know the upper left-hand corner is existing, and then new garage below, but what about on the right?
So this is the extent of the existing building that we're maintaining.
Okay.
It does already come down here. Might have a system.
Same question.
Yes, I did something. Maps.
Yeah, so this is the existing building as it is.
Okay,
Here, the red line here indicates the addition.
Okay.
Keeping this existing building, adding another building. The main street is here, so we're really not encroaching.
Forgive me for not knowing this, but is there a separate wash bay for the vehicle? So no cleaning or maintenance or anything is gonna be in this building, that would be in a different place?
No, so it's in this building today. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. We did tell the Wetlands Commission, so, it's in this building today. There is a holding tank for that wash wastewater. And what we're gonna do with the board, drain system, the site plan shows it just doesn't like those existing structures. So
And there's capacity for the greater amount of space in the vehicle to wash and.
yeah, we met with the public works director, we met to make sure for his operation too.
In theory, they're not gonna be cleaning in there, it's just gonna be snow and.
Yeah, that's what I was
it's gonna
wondering.
just- Yeah.
Trippings.
Yeah. What is happening with the existing animal holdings?
Yeah, I can address that.
Yeah.
So we're going to, assuming approvals and referendum, because this will go to referendum in the fall, probably September 22nd or 29th. So we've already been over there. We've had a lot of discussions with Clinton on several different items that we're looking at. In fact, I just got the report on the dog pound. They do a yearly inspection of the dog pound. And there are several things we're actually out of compliance with that we would have to repair. Number one is air conditioning and, you know, there's also no barrier between the runs right now, so dogs could go nose to nose. So if the dog is diseased or has an illness, it would spread. So there'd be some major improvements we'd have to make in the dog pound. So we're gonna go to a regional model, I think, and it's not gonna cost any more money. What it will involve, this is somewhat tangential, it is officers driving a dog over there, and we will either have to, when you have a dog in a dog pound, you tend to that dog. Now, we'll either do that with our animal control officers, or we will pay their animal control officer to do it. But we've already talked to the chief about this, he's comfortable with it. But to make improvements in this, the improvements to bring it where it should be, probably 7 figures. Essex is building a regional dog pound, they're looking at 1.5 million, they have a grant for it. They don't know where to site it. So it's not a small endeavor to build a new dog facility. This works out really well with Clinton, and we're looking at sharing a few other things too. It's really good.
Okay. And so, I'll stay tangential. Will that allow us to pick which, are we gonna do 2? It's irrelevant to the conversation, never mind.
What's that?
Nothing, it's not relevant to the conversation. Okay, thank you so much.
I just see there's kennels, where there's just holding pens before they get taken.
Yeah, I mean, it's the dog pound. So if your dog gets scooped up on the street and, they just broke through the invisible fence or whatever, they end up there. We have had litters that people have abandoned that end up there also. And they end up there and they either get adopted out or, retrieved by the owner.
Oh, I thought you said you were moving the dogs to Clinton.
This is the previous. This is how it exists now.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the kennels are going away.
Right.
Yeah, the kennels are going away to create a little bit more space. We have the Board of Finance going out this week. Several of them are going out this week, others are going out another time. The Public Works garage is really it's not a good situation for the workers. If anybody's been out there, and it's 60 years old, maybe older than that.
Yeah,
I mean,
78, yeah.
It's not good.
And the existing structure will get some modern modifications
Yeah,
as
they're
well.
gonna have a kitchen, they'll have a small conference room, they'll have lockers, they'll be able to shower in a decent space. And in addition to that, it brings us more into compliance with DEP, because I'm saying more than I should, but because it sits on an aquifer, you're supposed to have all your equipment undercover.
Right.
So we're gonna be more in compliance because our equipment is going to be covered. And secondly, we've invested a lot in equipment lately. More modern trucks, some other gear, and we will have it covered and it'll last longer as a result. We're driving, I mean, these guys take care of their equipment. We're driving trucks that are 20, 30 years old. And we're getting some newer trucks now. So it's a very, very necessary improvement. It is not a project that's, hey, it'd be nice. The guys deserve it. And quite frankly, we're down 1 or 2 public works workers, and we need to be more of a recruitment tool. When people see the facilities.
When was the last time there was any modernization done on the building? Rehab,
On that building,
20 years?
I don't think they looked at anything to that building, I think in the other building.
yeah, the other building. I can't
I'll
think
be
of
there
anything to-
26 years in October, and
No.
other than I think the
Yeah.
gas tank, this
That's it.
facility has not been in front of
It's been a long time.
It's kind of
this
nasty,
commission.
to be honest with you. Not that should go
No,
into
just-
consideration, but
There are no floor drains?
There are today.
There are today, and that's what goes into that whole.
That's why those tanks are there.
All right, and then where does the wastewater or gray water that goes into that tank?
So because we have no municipal sewers.
Right.
State. Licensed wastewater.
So it's
all pump it out,
removed,
bring it to a treatment.
and that's done on a regular treatment.
Some periodic basis.
So it doesn't go through like all of ours.
It goes, so the state law requires that it goes to a whole grid separator tank and then to a whole grid.
Okay.
Question on the new planned facilities. with public works operations, especially during big storms and something like that, is there any intention for, I see the break room, the locker room, stuff like that, but is there intention for, people to be able to stay over or no?
No.
All right, so then my only question then is, because that takes away a question. I see there's 2 showers, an ADA shower and a regular shower, a single locker room. Right now, what's the diversity of the public works staff? Is 100% male or?
It is 100% now.
So does this take into account the possibility of hiring any female public works employees?
That would be design, I don't,
Yeah, I mean, I think for on site, they typically have more kind of a restroom that they kind of use throughout the day. But I think they were trying to divide them up so that they have.
I just want to make sure that, you know, we don't come back in 5 years because we hired 2 public works women and all of a sudden we're asking for separate bathrooms, separate showers, all that stuff. And we said we should have thought about this when we were designing it in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't need, there's no
Yeah.
answer. I just want to make sure it's out there.
Yeah, they can sound like them, but
But that would take a redesign internally and we have to do that.
with the current layout.
Well, with the proposed new layout.
I mean, there's 2
You need a
showers.
wall right down the middle and you're set.
There's 2 showers, there's 2 bathrooms planned, which is good. But there's a single locker room. That's the only thing. Again, there's no answer right now. I just want it up there for consideration.
Well, the question really becomes, should it be part of the consideration of this project now that it's built into it from the start versus having to do it afterwards?
Right, because if you can have the plan in there for the eventuality when it happens, but in the meantime, if it's all male, then the 2 bathrooms are just 2 bathrooms, the locker rooms are all the same, it's all the same. There should be an ability to, on a moment notice.
Chris, is that
I
overstep
think
our
that
bounds?
It's a good suggestion, but it's not zoning related.
Okay, sorry.
No, I think it's a good point, though. I mean,
Okay.
but
It's not
as-
really a zoning thing, but it's a good question he brings up that should be considered.
Shower. Split it, half each half of it's all down to our shower.
Right,
You just have a little entrance to.
that's what I figured.
I think we can have a consideration.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I have a question. Just out of curiosity, what's the sprinkler room? For?
This is gonna essentially be.
Service.
Yeah, well, fire suppression system,
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, maybe not.
So it's like a utility, the utilities for the sprinkler system.
Yeah, that's why we're bringing that, fire protection service I mentioned from the street. It's
Right.
to serve that fire system.
Okay.
Anything else? Have we gotten all the referrals that we need?
So we sent the referrals on May 25th. You've already heard, we've received plan commission favorable, ARB favorable with the tree canopy concern. Health department, and we did get our wetlands permit and a letter from Lynette as our protection agent saying there's, no concerns as far as the registration, of anything this is.
Did we have? Number, but that would be gone.
We talked to Jeff a little bit about this at a preliminary stormwater.
There's some question. We should include storm drainage fees as part of this, but it turned out that Dave Jacobson, town's consultant engineer, was already working on that, so we decided to leave that separate.
Okay.
Or, when I say we, very well policy. So.
Just for clarification, did ARB have any comments relative to articulation?
They did not, they were concerned about the tree canopy.
Tree canopy. And it's hard to detail on the what exactly is new in terms of wall space? Cause you know, articulation every 40 feet is part of the regulations. And it was difficult for me at least to determine what was new and what wasn't new. Could you review that relative to that subject?
Yeah.
Means
Just sign.
No, he means the exterior wall.
Exterior wall.
Oh, the exterior walls. Is that right? Is that?
Yes.
So this is an exterior wall here, but it's gonna be all new. This is all gonna be new, construction.
Right.
So that we can insulate it.
And that's over 40 feet, correct? If I
Uh,
look at it quickly, 17,
that should be, or 41.
41 feet.
These are all the existing.
And there's a exterior tank
It's
located there?
Covered structure.
Concrete structure around it.
Okay. Well. Yeah, well, yeah, structure on top of it.
Right, okay. So that breaks that run off,
That bumps out from that wall.
Right.
That's staying.
comes out, but that breaks the run of 40 feet.
Total length.
Okay. And is there an additional wall? New wall, additional new exterior wall that is part of the project? Back wall, that's 33 feet, so that's okay. This, that one, also. This wall is existing.
There is. The ad for brick and street.
Fallen wall. No. 57. There is windows and doors, development. Is there any canopy over the door?
There is, yeah.
I. Yeah. I think so. These are bollards in the, between the garage doors in the front, correct? That's all the questions I have.
Wondering how overlap between addressing the dog kennel with the project go.
January first,
Okay.
today.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
whenever
not
you
an
guys,
issue.
whenever.
Whenever we
you
wanna
guys sort of do
transition,
this.
welcome to transition.
Okay, and, may have said this, but is the amount of equipment changing, or we're just able to put it all under cover now? in
The
terms
amount of the
vehicles and-
equipment's not changing. They may have one extra piece, but it's really just putting more things under cover.
Okay.
Yeah, what we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, for the stormwater, as you mentioned. Sort of review process for that, or is that just handled internally?
So what we did was when this application came in, Jacobson, who serves as our town engineer, is doing a stormwater drainage project on the property. Mike and his team were hired as a separate consultant.
Okay,
I brought it up to Mike and to Jeff saying, well, should we just incorporate all that in now? But there's kind of two projects going along. It's gonna catch up. It's just a little unique because there was one project and then this project came along with the drainage will be addressed by our engineers.
Now. With additional space available.
Yes.
Anything else? So this is a public hearing, so I will ask if there's anyone in attendance or online wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to, please identify yourself.
No.
No one online, there's nobody in the room, speak, so, I would make a motion to close, public hearing for Public Works Garage application for special exception use to reconfigure existing garage and construct 5,788 square foot of additions, including office space and entryway. Is there a second? seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Is there any further discussion? Not hearing any, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, passes 5-0-0. Do we have enough to deliberate this evening, or is there a need for more time? Consensus, everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay. Then- I'll make a motion to approve the Public Works Garage application for special exception use to reconfigure existing garage and construct 5,788 square foot of additions, including office space and entryway at 499 Middlesex Turnpike. Seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Is there any discussion? Yes.
I have a question. The road's here, the east side elevation's here, but where's the driveway in? I haven't seen that on any of the maps.
Just 16.
It's hard to see with the tree.
But then you've got the parking. Okay, so I see. So this is like grass or something. Okay, got it. Okay,
Tree can't, I think.
it's fine.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that.
Any other discussion? Favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstains, passes 5-0-0. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. You're welcome. Moving on to B. If I pronounce this wrong, I apologize, but thank you. C, application for special exception use. What building from retail to office space and maintain existing outdoor seasonal farm stand. At 1057 Boston Post Road. Not 34 restricted business. Holdings LLC, the agent is Steve Besky, and our action is to open the public hearing, continue or close by July 20th, 2026, or no later than July 26th of 2026. Welcome.
Good job.
Apologize if I butchered it.
I apologize if I was confused. I'm a medical by training, I'm a nurse practitioner, so if I don't have the notes display and everything, I apologize.
No worries.
But thank you for your time tonight. I am looking for section. I think it's under section 52. I had a note 51. 52. Oh, I got it right. Oh, no one is in the same technique like it was, because one thing I'm running into is people in town, if you have a house in town, and everyone says they love that property, it's a park fan, they want to kind of maintain the feel of it. But I said absolutely, it's really we just need the inside from the office space. And when I say office space, professional use, not a lot of, it'd be more of a satellite office for an existing business. I don't want it based on use category, just like each time I don't have to come in and say, hey, we're gonna change the office again, you know, so that's what I'm hoping in this. From 2 to 8 at the most people at any given time. I had as you can see, I had a site survey done with some recommended pages. One of the things I do want to put in some courteous favors in the front, just to allow for ADA parking. It's not a requirement, but I feel being there that it's gonna have some and nice places to go off of that for them. But it's not a requirement. Other than that, I did not plan to change anything on the interior, same layouts and structure, things from everything. It's just we have these parking spots that we've been approved for. I don't believe we'll be using that many parking spots, and so for some of the seasonal stuff, or maybe the farmers market. And I don't know if it'd be a food farmers market, but like this seasonal thing. So the wares, like I said, to try to maintain the charm of the top. My core is the office. Open the question.
So I have a question. Sure. With the two uses that you're talking about, how many employees, you're saying 2 to 5 employees for the the word medical correct or the,
Good question, not medical right now, so it's like, I'm not trying to get it approved for medical.
right.
So it really,
Okay.
farm use is really good at the weekends. So more like just having some, like my son sells worms, selling up the worm stands and then, so the fisherman, there's a fishing spot right there, so having that, maybe having some wood that people can come pick up the wood. Some tomatoes and stuff. Again, I'm open-minded, so if you guys have suggestions, we are open-minded.
Well, the reason I asked the question was not to stop it, but with two different businesses or purposes, how do you know? I'm wondering if you're gonna have a parking problem with 8 spaces for employees
Mhm.
and then customers. And the thing that I can't quite get my hands around is the farmer's market aspect of it. That's not gonna happen at the same time you're open for.
No, because like I said, it's not even my core, so if that's gonna mean the difference between getting approved and not approved, I have no problem with leaving traffic. I'm doing that for the town, because like I said, that's not my core, and we're not even planning on doing like this big, events and having like, where in Main Street, they have all the big wares and everything like that, that wouldn't be cool at all, so as far as that, if that's like a concern of yours, and it means the difference between getting the office approved and it's only for office space, that's fine, I would hope that for the sake of the town and for that, we do approval. As far as parking goes, this is gonna be more of a satellite office, because we already have, Highland, for instance, already has a business in Waterbury. They do all the billing and all the like stuff right out of there. So there really is no need for we need somebody to basically do trainings. And the most we've ever probably will see, because they usually do 4 to 5 new hire trainings, like PCAs, non-medical caregivers at a time. And then they're only there for like a few hours and then they go. And it's usually 1 to 2 days a week. So, that's what we're hoping anyway. So like I said, the farmers is an ancillary that I thought would be a bonus, but it's really it's a.
I'm sorry, Ronna. The commission isn't here to tell you one way or the other as to what you should or shouldn't do. It's you as the applicant asking us what you'd like to do. Okay, just so.
I would love to keep both these.
Okay. And at that point, Robin, you had a question?
The medical services, do people come there? Is it more of a telephone business?
It's pretty much not coming in because it's like, let's say, for instance, you have a grandmother or a grandfather or a loved one that needs care. We have the aides that go to the homes.
No, but I meant, do you ever have traffic, like people?
I would say very rarely, because it's mostly done by Indeed. We do most of the interviews are done through FaceTime, then they come in for a quick interview and then they're out. So these aren't long, this isn't VP of sales, so we have to spend multiple interviews. They're just trying to make sure they take care of your loved one. Are they safe? We background check them, give them their, the reason I say we, because I am one of the owners of Highland. But I do want to open it up just in case like that, it is office space per se. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, and is it open on weekends?
I was hoping to like the farmers market to have like, and I'm not using farmers markets, I haven't even decided. But non-medical, we would like to offer it 8 to 12, only because, we do get emergency fills sometimes, meaning like they'll call and say, please, my mother needs, just got discharged from the nursing home and they need care. By having somebody there, it's much easier for them. And usually they're in the morning because the hospitals want to discharge in the morning. The nursing homes want to discharge in the morning. So 99% of the stuff usually doesn't have to be done in the office. It's just, I think people are still, like, they still want to know that there's a brick and mortar. They still want to know, but it's so become virtual now, where I would say the majority is handled remote.
And the farmer's market, but I'm sure Saturday's the biggest day.
Yeah, Saturday, and I don't think we're gonna get it this year, unfortunately, because of the timing, and I haven't really decided what we're gonna do with it, but like, for instance, one of my employees, she makes the candied apples. So she's asking if she can set up like a little stand, that rolls in and rolls out, that you can bring inside, and that has the candied apples. And then some people are saying, oh, they want to do pies or two, just can't do it without the cooking and the space for that. Some people, there was another one I wanted to do cookies, and so I was thinking more just keeping it small scale, where the vendor would have each week and maybe have a rotating like harvesting. We're hoping for Saturday, Sunday stuff.
Up to Saturday.
Yeah, well, and during the week, what we would like to do is we'll have like a little cooler or something inside, so if somebody's selling the cookies that weekend and they wanna have them, we have somebody there, they can drop in, get a couple of cookies and leave, but, you know, that's not really something that we're predicting to be a very, you know, we're not cooking there, we're not baking there, we're not doing anything.
On the statement they used, it said, 2 to 5 employees, and the application, it says 5 to 8.
I upgraded it after, like, was when the application, because that was.
So which is more, which is
The
more,
application, correct.
okay, so the 5 to 8,
Yeah.
so that could be 8 employees with 8 parking spaces, so
And that was where the trainers come, the trainees, I took them into consideration after. So normally it's only gonna be 1 to 2 employees,
Oh, okay.
because, but I wanted to have time for when we did have like a training class. And so somebody comes in, so usually the 4 to 5 people come around, sit around the conference table, look at the video, they watch the training, you know, how to turn somebody, how to like coach
Like
somebody.
2 to 3 hours.
At the most, it's usually like an hour and a half, you know, so. And then they do stuff at home, again, videos, training out. So.
Full-time employees on site in the office would be what?
1 to 2, because we need somebody to kind of greet people, that answer phones, deal with emergencies. The second one is if it gets like a little bit busier, maybe one's doing the training while the other one's just answering the phones. And again, this is a satellite office, so really we don't need those employees there anymore, but I believe in the brick and mortar concepts.
And when you say number of customers on the statement of use, that would be the customers as it relates to the office.
Kind of a mix, you know, like which part are you referring to?
Number of customers, peak hours and off-peak hours.
Yeah, kind of, I estimated, because I mean, really, the location we have now in the library in the city, we really don't get any walk-in. We don't really get the walk-in customers. I'm hoping that with the location, maybe every once in a while, we do get somebody who walks in, and it'd be nice to kind of say, but really, we don't get a lot of walk-ins. Like, our business is not really set up for, it's more a phone, you know, they're with their loved ones in the hospital and in the nursing home, please help me out, you know, kind of needs coverage.
Commissioners?
No, the description helps because it's a very busy quarter. Across the street, you got McDonald's
Oh, yeah.
and if you got a lot of people there, traffic and parking would be a concern, but based on what you're telling us, it doesn't sound like too big an issue, so.
From what I was talking to with the survey, it looks like it's actually gonna be a down regulation in use, because before it was, that was where I guess there was a lot of people going and buying pies, they were doing baking, they were doing a lot of volume. I think the previous owner said he did like 600 pies out of the location. So they were having lots of turning. We don't need it, you know, and that's not why.
Good.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate the really great. And so just hoping I Never, that's going to be inside the building or where it
Some of
currently
the
was?
neighbors we're looking at like having more, because right now the building looks very plain when you go by it. It looks like there's not, so we just want to maybe put some like shelving or maybe one of the things that you could roll out. You know, that's why we're like, my goal is to that's why we kind of put this here, to have some like, you know, ideas over here and maybe a little bit over here. Just to kind of, again, my visions are grandeur, I'm an EPRN. I'm not into doing the farm stands. And I wasn't looking to do it, but I like this town so much. It's fun. Down in Boston, but there's always stuff to do. And I noticed there's not like little artisan places, not little like things to draw. And I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit by doing that, which helps my business in a way, because when they drive by and they see Highlands and they see this, oh, look, oh yeah, I remember that was a cool place. I bought that cool little necklace there that time. You know, and I would like to do like kind of like a rotating schedule, but these are my visions, whether we maintain that or not.
So I think, I love, like I said, I think it would be a shame to have it not just an office building, but have it become just an office building. And I think at least, I'm not voting for that, but for me, I think I would need to know more specific? I would need more specifics.
If I have to come
really-
back, I'll probably get rid of the farm stand, so if that's something that bothers you guys, that if I have to return, it probably would just be coming back as office use only, nothing against, no offense, but I just have to. I'm only doing the farm
Here's what I
stand, right.
think would be helpful for the commission
Mhm.
and really more so for yourself. But where I'm struggling is I don't know what you want to be. Okay,
I'm a landlord right now, that's why.
right, but in the sense of this operation, parking is tight there. We all agree on that, okay? So we look at it and say, okay, whatever the use is, has to be work around that. Depending on what you may want to do with a farmer's market, just in
Mhm.
general terms, and nothing specific. There could be other health code things that you have to
Absolutely.
get involved with.
And I would definitely get approval.
And get,
Again, I
and get
would
those
provide-
approvals, but a statement of use for both operations, I believe would be very helpful to this commission, to clarify the use and what that property is gonna be used for, particularly in my case, as I looked at this and I struggled is with the parking. You know, I think the concept that you have on both sides
Mhm.
is good, but,
Is there any way I could ask for approval for just the office space then and remove the farm stand altogether?
well, your application, I believe, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, is for both, correct? The application?
Yes.
So you would have to withdraw and resubmit, or could you?
And
or
withdraw
and
farm stand portion from this,
from this.
have it all office, and you could condition a statement of use revision.
I know so many people that I talked to, they would just do that.
For,
But I
you know, to
can't
Casey's
just come
point,
back Again, because it's costing, would just be too much to lose for the business, you know, we'd have to drive them, you know.
This is a special exception.
No, I'm not,
Right,
I'm
so
just
no,
saying.
I'm just saying the commission is considering kind of the appropriateness of your proposed, either proposed
Understand.
use at this location.
Mhm.
So, there is an existing use there and you're asking us to change it to something else.
Mhm.
And I think, at least for me, I like something consistent with the existing use. I think that's
Mhm.
appropriate for that location. And that's just for me, but I think, I don't think that withdrawing the farm stand makes the office a guarantee, is what I'm telling.
But unfortunately, it sounds like the parking is the problem. So by withdrawing the
I
farm stand, the
think-
parking doesn't become
I
a
think
problem
the
anymore.
parking is still, at least for me, because I had a couple other questions related to that.
Mhm.
Is still potentially a concern that needs to be addressed.
Okay. What would be the concerns?
Well, so one question I wanted to ask is, I see a line here and a line here. So which one is the front property line?
This
Is this an
This
encroachment?
is state line right here. This is state property. So this is just basically saying that this is the line. And then this is like the kind of where we're gonna plant a couple trees. And that this is more to describe the landscaping.
So this is your property
Correct.
and this is what?
The demarcation for the park.
But this here
That could be.
outside of that
that
line
could
is
be
going
extended.
to
That could be
be
extended. parking.
pavement.
No, we're not doing it. It's all gravel.
It's noted as paved on the plan. Well, it's
Yes.
noted as stone area.
Yeah, stone, we know it's all gravel.
So I don't, so what's this line right here?
I don't know why you put the line there, but other than that, it could be, right now,
Does it
it's
still
dirt.
in?
Right now, it's dirt here, but you know, we want to extend the gravel there, all of that.
So maybe it's dirt from gravel.
It's dirt transition, we were gonna say,
All dirt right
I think
now.
that line is the
And
existing
then
gravel.
it's Parking right now.
no, there's parking, this is all.
Existing gravel.
Existing gravel.
Gravel.
The performance. We're just doing that.
Well, no, the last. Area.
No, they were actually using the state property as the land
That was
area.
gonna be my next question.
So that's why when he came in and it all kind of shook out, he said, we can't really, they had to remove everything that was on the state property.
Right.
That's where that gravel is encroaching over, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's why it looks like there's another property line, but that's actually the gravel going onto the state property.
That's right.
So where they had those planters crossed over the property
Right.
line.
Got it.
Which is why.
So all the encroachments have been addressed.
And the applicant, I said you would be interested in some landscaping on the corner there, which the applicant has
So that's
provided.
what this,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
okay, but we're keeping some gravel in here.
I would
for-
prefer to keep it dirt, but you know, that's what, I guess that was the way they wanted me to put the moving. Before, the previous owners had a big old, you know, they had a big planter right here. There's still one right here. But we're moving, it's in the land. It's in right here. So even there's the side one.
But I don't recall there ever being parking on the Route 1 side of the building.
Because they're adding
That's
it
new.
to improve it for
That's new.
accessibility.
That's new.
But that would, that's part.
So my other question is, this parking aisle is a lot narrower than required for it to.
I just used by the surveyor. I apologize. I'm just going by what they approved.
Well, I have concerns about people, again, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I want to make sure everybody's safe because it's already, you have a really wide driveway apron and people are coming in and out and people are zooming around the corner and people are trying to get out of McDonald's. And I see we're not really doing anything with the driveway apron. Which I understand, maybe you have to leave it that way in order for cars to really get in and out of the spaces. But then I also have concerns about, you know, you have somebody parking here, somebody's coming around this way, somebody's backing out, they don't really have room to maneuver. And I know it's really tough now, but I don't want to make it worse.
You know how they did it with the deli? Want to know how they're gonna pull deli out
Well,
of
they
there?
weren't really a deli.
Yeah.
They may have expanded a little bit beyond what was approved in their statement of use. So they were a market. They tried with produce and so forth.
Produce,
It
they
didn't
tried.
work
It's a
out.
bakery
And
item.
pies and things like that. And then apparently sandwiches.
I thought the parking was only here
It was.
for the deli,
Mhm.
for the,
Yeah, these two spaces are here are new proposed.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you wanna
Yeah.
pave it and provide the
I don't, yeah.
accessible space that, you know, the accessible space that actually works for someone that needs an accessible space. I just, it's a lot of that. All right, last question is, was any consideration given to like removing some of this?
I don't think you
I
can,
don't think
because
we
you
can,
need
right.
area to get back here and to do work and everything like that. I don't think that it would encroach upon the neighbors. I don't want to pick up their space and their tree line and their. When you look at it, it's almost like.
It's tight. It's tight back there. You couldn't make a swing with a car back there.
You could, yeah. The house sits right there.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the
Thank you.
parking calculation is business 200 square feet per space. What you do, we calculated 4 spaces. 800 square feet. But it's just a matter of traffic to really get. You're okay.
A lot of traffic and I don't foresee it, you know, that's why. Only, I mean, that really, I'm just asking consideration. I get where you guys are coming from. I totally do. I can limit, you know, what we put there outside. I really have, as you can see, I mean, I pull permits and everything I've done. I've been.
Yeah.
I'm standing on everything I've done, so tell me I can't have anything other than XYZ, so be it.
I don't think we
I
need to
think-
tell you can or
No,
can't.
no, it's not our place to do that, but I think what I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, is you have two businesses. You have a Monday through Friday office. With occasional off night weekend use potentially. And you have the 2-day weekend of some sort of
With limited hours too.
limited hours of market operation that could potentially work side by side well together, maximizing the opportunity that parcel provides you with. For us to adequately review it, to understand it as it relates to parking, would be seeing a statement of use for both businesses, the number of employees, a number of, for the Monday through Fridays, let's say, and the Saturday, Sunday, and the 8 spaces, and how does that work together? And particularly on I'll call it the weekend business, a solid clarification of what that would consist of.
Unfortunately, I get what you're saying, so I'll probably next time, just so you're, I probably will not do the farmer's market, because my core is the office space. I know it's not gonna guarantee approval. And I'm not
Right.
saying it.
We're not trying to talk you
Oh,
out of
I totally
either.
understand, but this,
Okay.
you see where I'm coming from. I only did this because the town asked, like the people I was talking to asked, and unfortunately, I can't afford anymore because it took so long just to get the site survey and everything, and I'm just, every month that I kind of postpone. So I see where you're coming from. It's almost like you have these two businesses. So I agree with you. So that's, next time I think of what I probably would have to do if it doesn't pass today. I understand where you guys are coming from. I'll probably just have to redo it, so it's just an office space.
Well, I think at this point, and correct me, Chris, is that if we kept the public hearing open and he was able to regroup with a statement of use, clarifying those issues, we could potentially see him at an upcoming meeting in July to what he may want, without you having to put him through additional delays or expenses.
But can I clarify what the questions are? Because what I got from it, it seems like that the farmer's market would draw too much traffic.
No, I don't,
I think you need what you've shown that the farmer's market is heavily weekend and the office is heavily weekday, so it's, the two businesses, there's not a lot of
right,
over.
it's simple. Monday through Friday is your medical business, or
Monday through Friday.
whatever it's properly called. Saturday and Sunday, you're using,
And would limit use of the office.
which is,
Or,
No, but thank you.
or maybe you put something in there that if there is a training, it wouldn't be at the same time the farmer's market.
exactly. So you're not-
It's something that kind of shows how you would,
To
balance.
Casey's point, that location, it needs something beyond an office space. And I think you're en route to providing something that would work.
Is there any?
So I can guarantee that there won't be trainings on the weekends, if that's what you're referring. That's not a problem.
I think that, so, can I speak to
Sure, absolutely.
just to clarify? We're not telling you what to do and what not to do. Just clarify the statement of use to be very specific on what you're currently proposing, what's going to happen on weekdays versus weekends. And that's it. Just be more clear on each of the things. And that becomes now much more clear on what we're doing. Don't alter anything. Just be more specific in what you're doing.
Plus I would probably clarify, it's probably unlikely that you're gonna be having farmer's market in January outside.
Right.
But then it says something here about the Christmas holiday season where I could see you selling ornaments or wreaths or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they're just looking for that clarification, but the way it's, number of employees, interior 5 to 8, 1 to 2 during off-peak, but the 5 to 8 seems to be your extreme. When you have training and you have people inside for that, I think it just kind of shows that balance and how it's gonna work.
Every day includes and showing the 8 cars and single.
Right.
Is there any limitation on like handicap parking that, is this mandatory or is there so few parking that the handicap is optional?
We can check with the building inspector. I mean, you need to have at least one, I would say. It's really a
Which we
building
have.
code matter. So the surveyor put this together. I mean, maybe it's something that there's only one, but I'm not really sure. how it came up.
There's a way to find, like, it seems like 2 parking spaces could put them over the top. Is there a way? I don't know the regulations. Is there a way to squeeze 2 more parking spaces out of the space, either on the side of where the handicap is or?
I think your drive aisle is too narrow.
And back here where it's just a stone area, I'd have to get in there.
So Stephen, I think if you, what Derek had mentioned, you lay that out sit down, take the time to do that. Any questions that would pop up while you're in that process this week, a phone call to Chris would certainly provide you with the information that could clarify anything for you. And we would invite you to come back with that clarification if we can schedule them for the next, in July.
Fair enough. I just want to clarify, so is there something that, like, you know, would really, is it the parking that, I know obviously the weekend, I'll clarify that. Do I have to figure anything out about the parking?
The parking, I think we can talk to the building official.
Yeah.
We'll have our town engineer take a peek just at the drive aisle. Maybe there's a way we can kind of reconfigure it a little bit. But I think, you know, overall, from when you purchased the property, we started discussing it's so non-conforming and it's so tight with that giant apron. You know, it's tricky, but you're doing a lot.
This for the handicap, but from what I was told, it wasn't mandatory, but I mean, I want, you know, that's it.
So I guess, I think it's mandatory. It was put on there, but I'm not, we'd have to check with the building official. And I would assume anyway, with the type of business you have, where you do have, you know, potentially older clientele who may come in for a spouse or someone who needs care, you probably would want that.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.
We
We appreciate it.
Do you want to see if anybody wants to speak as a public?
Oh,
hearing?
right, yes, sorry.
Well, we're,
Since hold on one sec, since it is a public hearing, we're required to, if there's anybody in attendance online who wants to speak on behalf of yourself. I'm not seeing any either, then we will, I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing open for the Davila, is that right? Holdings LLC application for special exception use to convert to an existing 778 square foot building. Is there a second? Second by John Henry. Any discussion? Not hearing any, move to a vote. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, passes 5-0.
To know when you're continuing it to.
Do we,
July 20th was the,
is that the next available?
July 6th was an issue.
Right, July, so July
July 20th.
20th. Continue to our July 20th meeting.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Carabetta, can you hear us? No. Okay, so moving on to old business, which we don't have any right now, correct?
No. I don't
Committee,
know why that was on there.
Yeah, it's all right.
Put together that agenda, so
yeah, committee representative and staff reports, Chris.
So I've got quite a bit to go through here. So the first thing. So I was contacted by the owner of 806 Princeton Post Road, Jack Pergos of Epic Real Estate. He just went through recently for refinance, and they've asked that he have a certificate of occupancy prior to getting a loan. So he reached out to say he would like to wrap up any outstanding issues that he has so that he could obtain this loan. So last Thursday, the new fire marshal, the building official, and one of our zoning inspectors went out to the property for a review. And time is kind of the essence. I know the applicant, the property owner, is very anxious to get this matter resolved, and a few questions came up. So overall, from the inspection, you know, and this is what I came back with in 2024, the site substantially, you know, meets the intent of what you approved, but there were a few things that came up. First of all, from 2024, there was the issue of the window glazing, which that has not been resolved. The parking lot and the parking spaces, are not free of obstructions. The building entry has been blocked off. The inspector stated that Mr. Pergosa does not like, I guess, delivery trucks are pulling in there, and since the septic is under the parking, he's concerned that the driving of the delivery trucks will adversely affect the septic system. So the one thing typically, and the inspector did ask, and I think it's been your past practice, is that you typically like to see parking unobstructed and vehicles to be able to get in for emergency access. There was a do not enter sign in the back of the stop sign that was not approved. So right now, the recreational boat on a trailer, there's been golf carts, vehicles. I'm sure you've seen other items out there. They're not part of the real estate business, but I'm trying to clarify if some of these things were what you intended to approve.
Just for clarification, there's 3 members here that were not part of that 24 zoning commission, so that if you have specific questions relative to that approval, feel free to ask. Okay. Because
I listened.
So I did send, I did send the audio
Right.
out and the statement of use. So that it's broken out, as well as the inspection report. So 804 Boston Post Road is a property managed service business with no employees and no customers other those but invited. This is referring to the statement of use. A 223 square foot office with 1,678 square feet of warehouse space associated with the office use. So Mr. Percosa he has his real estate property management group. There was quite a bit of testimony during the application as to why this was not a contractor storage business. So a few questions have come up relating to this. I was not at that meeting, so I really can't get into it too much. So we talked about the site a little bit. I'm asking or assuming that your approval did not allow for the storage of boats and golf carts and trailers and other items. That's typically something, just kind of going through this as a little punch list, so that those vehicles should be removed from the property. Building improvements was the window glazing, the interior office space. There, the 223 square foot space, not the real estate office, that appears to be substantially compliant and is utilized as an office. The accessory storage inside the building. So the accessory storage was approved as storage as accessory to office space associated with the property management services business. The interior of the space, it was largely consistent, but then following potential inconsistencies were noted. The space contained several stored items that the inspector was unclear if it pertained to property management. This included a single axle car dolly, a forklift, and 2 installed operational and motor vehicle lifts. I don't know, you want me just to kind of go through them?
Well, I mean, you can go through the whole thing and we can comment, or you want to comment?
However,
by point? What would you like to do? Comment by point or after?
Yeah, self-moment.
Okay, that's fine.
so I guess when this approval was made for the property management office storage space, there was a single axle car dolly, forklift, and installed automotive lifts, part of what you were considering as accessory to this business.
Definitely not.
Question about the use in general. So if the office space sounds like it's not in use because there are no people.
So there's three units. So there was 2 offices and esthetician, and one of the offices had 1,678 square feet of accessory storage area for the property management business. So the commission was pretty clear going back and forth. I did listen to the tape today. The property is located in the B1 district. Contractor storage was not allowed. There was some discussion, the applicant's engineer, I believe, even, at one point it said, well, I'm an engineer, but I have a closet and I have my survey equipment and my shovel and that. Here, this obviously is a much larger space, and the commission allowed it as a storage area related to the real estate management.
So is the office that is for the real estate management in use currently?
Yes. And I did print out
So
some.
is there anything in the second office?
So the second office, well, that's why I kind of need to go through. So the second office space, so one interior space, it's 223 square feet. It's being utilized as an office. So that's the real estate property management company.
So 2 out of 3 are good.
That has 1,678 square feet of storage related to the real estate property management. The next space, 608 square feet. The only items in the unit were commercial kitchen appliances, shelving, which contained supplies that was described by Mr. Petrosa as being medical supplies and materials with another business that he owns. I'm going to make the assumption without asking him, he's opening Epic IV therapy across the street, and it looks like they're painting and doing renovations. I think that those items, I'm assuming, are being stored there until he
Potentially could
opens.
be stored while
They're doing the renovation across the street. That's what I suspect.
fair assumption.
However.
But a large cooler or freezer is not.
So, apparently. Is that what that is? I guess I'm trying to go office unit by office unit. That's why we're all over the place. So now I'm on the 600 square feet. So that office currently is vacant, has storage, which I believe is for Epic IV therapy as they're doing the renovation. And then there is a walk-in cooler with no food that was not running, but appeared to be operational.
Is that
So,
something Epic would ever use?
I'm sorry,
Is that something the Epic ID would ever use?
I don't know, but the Epic Pizza is another
Pizza
Oh.
business.
business. So it was described, I guess, to the inspector that would be for one of the 8 pizza restaurants that are being proposed.
That's not property maintenance.
Property.
That's not-
So I guess other than putting all these different business uses aside, the interior office space at 608, the kitchen appliances, shelving, that may be for the business across the street, and medical supplies. All right, now you're getting me messed up here. That's probably with Epic. The issue there is, would it be safe to say it's fine to store the medical supplies or IV therapy stuff temporary while they're
Temporary
doing?
storage while the Epic IV across the street is going through a remodel. Yes, but that would be a short.
Well, could
Window.
he ever file an application to amend the use and just say? for
At this
general
point,
storage?
the applicant the property owner is very anxious he's got a deadline for the financing. He's looking to get a CO. So I'm just trying to put a punch list. It's up to the applicant if he decides to come in and modify.
Sure.
I'm just seeking today to find out if the interior office space, do you feel it's consistent to have a large walk-in cooler?
No. I don't.
And lifts.
I think based on
So
what
let's
was,
go unit by unit.
we'll go unit by unit, based on what the approval that was for the original application. That he's still not, that property is not in compliance of is what you need to look at. for this.
Well,
discussion,
that's,
right?
that's what I'm
Okay,
trying to
I'm just
provide.
trying to put us all on the
Same page, but it's tricky because we're going unit by unit.
Okay.
So you want to do the, which unit when you want to?
Well, so we're just talking about the interior office space of 608 square feet that is not, right now, seems to be storage for the, I'm assuming Epic IV across the street with a walk-in pool.
Right, so anything relative to the business across the street that's medically needed is being stored temporarily would be
Okay.
okay.
But can you make a rep-
deadline?
Could-
Could we get a date for when that's?
Well, I
So
think.
right now we're going through and we're working on putting together a punch list to
Right.
get property owner a CO
Right.
for his financing. So putting the date aside, I need,
No, what I'm saying is that it would make me more comfortable to say that it's okay on a temporary basis, like, yes, you can
Define
do
the
this on a
period.
temporary basis, if he provided you with a date by which it would.
so I guess I'm not as concerned with the storage of the IV because he's moving across the street and they're renovating. I'm looking to you for guidance on some of these other, what I would assume is that at some point, the two office spaces not related to the business will be leased or rented out. You know, one of them, and I did have some photographs.
Here's the photos right here.
If I
I'll set
may,
them up.
if I may, just, Casey, I understand, because it was a thought that I had, a conversation that I had earlier today with Chris on that. There's a need for the property owner to obtain a CO as quickly as possible. So we provide Chris with those things that are and are not acceptable. It'll be, his timing will dictate if it gets done or not on a timely basis, okay? If he so chooses not to do things that he had already agreed to do, then that puts it into a whole nother, as you know, element to work with. I believe that if we were to say the IV materials you gotta have out of there in 2 weeks, for us to sit, or for me to sit here and say that at this point, I don't know what he's doing to the other building, what kind of time frame it is, what his potential opening is. So 2 weeks versus 4 weeks versus 6 weeks may not make a difference, or an arbitrary number that we're forcing him to that he may not be able to live up to.
Yeah.
Needless to say, they're not allowed there.
Right.
But we'll work with them.
I guess what I'm thinking is we sign off on the CO and we say it's fine on a temporary basis.
I'm not saying it's fine on a temporary basis. We're just gonna say it's okay
We're not.
for
enforcing it
now.
for right now. We're not.
So that would be
making it-
another, that would be a different matter and an enforcement matter. So I'm assuming if he's storing things for one business to the other, it would move across the street while they're doing the resident.
Right.
That's.
Right.
A CO will only be issued when everything is in compliance.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't see any harm with the temporary storage. if
No,
it
that's
stays
okay.
there
The
for-
freezer
And you
is
could
not.
make a very strict argument that it is sort of real estate management. He's helping a tenant across the street by storing something that's,
That's
it's a stretch, but it's in furtherance of
Yeah,
real
that's-
estate.
Yeah,
management.
you could.
Okay.
So the other part of that square footage is 680 foot is the cooler freezer, correct?
Right.
And that is not allowed.
So the cooler freezer, and I did speak with the inspector, he got the impression it was related to the pizza businesses. So I did actually reach out to CRAD just to see, because this has really never come up, where you've had a site that's not a restaurant with storage for it. It's empty now, so I can't say one way or the other. But if there's no food prep there, there's nothing in the health code that would stop someone from having a freezer.
Irregardless of that.
But I'm going,
No, I know,
I'm just
I
kind of
understand. I
going
want to
through.
make it very clear.
So the
that
question
cooler
is,
Freezer is not allowed and should be.
in an office, that this is why we're going through this kind of piece.
Right, I know. It's a
So
little- it's a little painful, but
Is it being used or is it just storing it in?
we don't know.
So that
It's
it,
not allowed use.
It's not built in, if you say, well, temporary storage, I don't know.
Derek's, it's
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Okay.
so that's. So the next space is the 350 square foot space that was gonna be the esthetician space. That esthetician is not going to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting these messed up. Because we're going off. This is the one that has items removed for another building for the demolition renovation. So maybe this also has stuff from the other. So it's being used as storage.
The 350 square foot.
Yes.
Storage that we assume at this point is relative to his building maintenance business.
Right.
So that's okay.
Well, I mean, you've got, so the question is, you've got two office spaces, the 350 square feet and the 608 square feet, which were supposed to be two separate tenants.
Right.
If they're temporarily being used now for storage or miscellaneous items relating to another business the property owner has across the street, is that okay for now? And I understand Casey's concern with the timeline. So when someone else moves in, obviously they're gonna have to get the stuff out. You would assume the property owner would want to have tenants and wouldn't want to keep all that stuff there as a storage site. So if it's temporary, with the exception, what I'm getting from the commission, other than the walk-in cooler, which is not customary to an office use, that would be allowed temporarily.
I think that makes sense.
I would say yes, and I wouldn't hold up the C of O, but if I was a landlord, I had a big empty building, I would want to store, as long as things
Whatever
aren't
you could.
noxious or toxic, I want
Well,
to store
keep-
what I have
keep-
in the storage. So I would just suggest to him, maybe make an application to change the use after he gets his C of O.
Keep in mind that we haven't gotten to the other,
We didn't get to
the
the
other
problem.
location
Yeah.
and the film, I'm sorry, Chris. Film comes off the window.
Yeah, that's.
You're
very
gonna
quiet.
see a mess from the street, okay? So,
It matches the
Yeah.
boat.
but
So part,
These are
because I'm gonna
process-
just interrupt, so
Yeah.
part of it too is that in the B1, this commission spent a lot of time going back and forth.
Right.
Warehousing and contractor storage is not allowed.
Right.
So this was two office spaces, or the esthetician, which is a retail service. And then the office with for the real estate management company with the accessory. So even as you look around, the cars, some of them advertise pizza, they have different things that are being advertised, which are not uses in the building. So is that okay? Or should it be uses related, like vehicles for the property management only, not the several other businesses, the IV therapy and that, which are other businesses by the property?
was it? Maybe I'm lost here, but
There's a lot going on.
I know, what did we say about storage? Are we allowing or not allowing? Because cars and stuff was
So you have,
outside. is
that's
different.
why I think unit by unit. So you,
I don't feel that those two units that we're talking about, 350
608.
and the 608 are intended to be, from the original application, rented or leased spaces to other businesses or some type of business office space, correct?
that was what was provided in the application, the esthetician, that fell through, the other space apparently from what this says here.
And we should not allow, my opinion is we should not allow storage.
Storage, yeah.
Because those two facilities.
Can of worms.
Period,
Because
period.
along with one, the reason it's stocked the way it's owned is to not limit it for storage buildings.
Okay.
That's correct.
So like
Yeah.
to make an exception, like, I mean, I get it, like temporary, it's across the street, fine, he's gonna move it back. But there is the concern if someone owns a lot of other properties where they take one building and just turn it into a big storage warehouse, and I don't think that was the intention.
Warehousing is not allowed.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Well, warehousing isn't allowed, but storage is allowed. I mean, I kind of was looking at it and
So
where,
storage was, I'll be honest, so when this application came in, I told the property owner after he bought the property that contractor storage was not allowed. He started sending me pictures, kind of some of like what you're seeing. And the commission at the meeting said that the 1,800 and some odd square feet, or whatever that number is, that larger 1678 could be accessory to the office space, which is, I think, 223 square feet. I don't know if I was at the meeting that I would agree with the commission, but it seems like a lot of space for something to be accessory, to have that amount of space. But it was more storage, and I don't even really want to get into it too much, because I think that's another, the condition that was made was that you couldn't have more than 3 units, 3 of the same items in the building, which is nearly impossible to enforce. I mean, if you have 4 pencils on the desk, you're in a zoning violation. So I just kind of want to put that all to the side, not worry about the condition, and look at your approval and
The
Your
thing is,
use.
it was approved for storage. The problem is it was only approved for storage related to the real estate
So-
management, but it was approved for storage.
the testimony at the meeting was, and then we haven't even gotten into the indoor storage area, was that it would have a truck with a snow plow that would take up most of the space, and small tools and other items.
Small tools.
Just to clarify, storage as a primary use is not otherwise permitted in that.
Correct.
It's only permitted as an
As an
accessory use in that zone.
That was the interpretation the commission made at that meeting.
But it was approved for storage
As
necessary.
accessory.
For real estate management with the testimony.
in that one section.
Okay, so Attorney
Yeah.
Casella had said that there would be a truck with a plow and small tools and other items. And I mean, there's a lot of things, obviously, there's bins and storage of things and, you know, whatever.
We're talking about storing toilets and sinks and stuff, you know. things
That was,
you
I
need
think,
for
part of
real
what,
estate management.
you know, the thought was.
That's what it was limited to.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that it is storage. It was approved for
As an
storage,
accessory.
yeah,
The focus is
yeah.
accessory.
But it's kind of the tail wagging the dog.
Not really,
Storage
no.
is the biggest area of that, but it was approved.
Because without the accessory, it wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah,
The primary use. You can't have
Primary
accessory
use, you can't have it.
yeah, but I'm just saying it was approved as storage, so.
Is it accessory?
Related to the real estate
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, I'm saying,
Yeah.
but our focus is here, it's not, our problem is that it's.
So
not-
what I'm looking for is really the guidance as to, you know, car lifts and things like that. Is that
That's
something
a
you
good
feel is accessory?
Car lifts, the,
Jack.
stay inside for a second, the forklift. Those are not allowed there. Okay. There is a floor drain that in the original meeting, both the professional engineer and the attorney both stated that it had been sealed and plugged. And according to what we read on the recent visit is that that's not the case. It is open and it's unknown where it goes.
You can see it, you can see the picture.
Yeah, that's a major issue because 2+ years ago, they said it was plugged up and it's not.
I mean, it could be plugged in there.
No, they said it's filled in and then they said it's taken out.
Yeah.
Those are
Which,
quotes.
which,
Oh, is that right? I
Which-
didn't remember that one.
which,
They said, quote, it's filled in, and quote, it's taken out. And
well, it hasn't been taken out,
Well,
it
that's what
wasn't
they
filled
said.
in, and so
Right.
it's therefore, they're in violation of that agreement.
I mean, that's pretty clear.
Clear.
I'm looking at the things that are, you
The
know,
film on the window is pretty clear. Gotta come on.
so kind of putting together just a little list. So the parking lot and parking spaces should be free of
Yeah.
Free of
obstruction,
obstruction,
no boats,
no boats,
No
no,
cars.
no advertising for any type of business with a customer.
other than the business vehicles for the business in the building.
Right.
There's, you know, some other stuff, do not enter sign, there was the window sign that was back from 2004. And obviously the window blazing. So the car lifts and other automotive repair and or maintenance, or those should be removed. Walk-in cooler
Removed.
and the office spaces. I mean, I get the temporary storage.
Well, it is, but I mean, I'm with Robin, we shouldn't agree to that.
No temporary storage.
No, you can't give this guy an inch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So we're,
Some of the storage is currently happening in places that were approved as office, right? That's what we're talking about.
In the pictures,
So,
yeah.
so that's a separate thing than like the spaces that this area we did approve storage.
no, it's
Or
all,
is
I
it
mean, it's a
separate?
whole CO inspection for, that's why I've been trying to.
I mean, in terms of like what we're talking about for what was approved, we can take the area that was approved as the accessory storage and kind of put that aside for a minute.
That's what I'm trying to break
Right,
out.
then the question is, I think, what about the like office and the esthetician and such that are also being used for property storage, right? Is that?
They're being used for storage. This is what storage of some sort, and I believe it has to do with I didn't talk to the applicant yet, or the property owner, but I believe it has to do with Epic IV across the street, which is getting,
In all of those others.
I don't know item by item. I could be wrong. I don't think a cooler is something in for an IV infusion building, and there was some discussion, one of the folks out in the inspection said it had to do with one of the 8 pizza businesses that the property owner has.
Well, in any case, whatever this, I think we should remove that stuff.
So it's clear to say the office should be the office. You want anything stored in the office. So I have to put this all together.
Yeah.
The storage in the office to the storage in the storage area.
It's unrelated to the accessory that was approved.
Yeah, but
for
you
the-
were saying since it was temporary, it was okay.
Well,
So it's like more okay.
I kinda, you're correct, I did say that, and I rethought that,
Oh, okay.
saying that, and given the circumstances of what we're dealing with,
Oh,
that would probably not be a smart
okay.
on my part.
No, but he'll take advantage of that.
Careful, we're on
We're
video,
just trying to resolve,
we're on video.
we're trying to resolve an issue and that's why I'm asking you for clarity.
Do you need more?
I think we've got enough.